Sean, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Frank? Oh, I'm sorry. So that must have been on other people's phone. We good? All right, good. All right, good. Let people come back on here. So Bates, just in case, I got you a nice little present right here, because I don't drink Hennessy. It's just been sitting here aging. Thank you, Chris, Joseph, Letty, Brother Gilmore, Brother Bailey. Okay. All right, thank you guys. I was getting ready to complain. I just got this daggone phone. Nate Lloyd, what's up, man? Okay, Reagan, we good? All right. All right, let's get into this. Basically, these conference calls that I'm on, they're basically some of the information that does come from the governor and the mayor. So I'm just sharing with you guys. Anyway, I want to give you the statistics, and we'll go on from there. So nationally, we got 1.6 million people who tested positive for COVID-19. In New York State, we have 354,000. In New York City, we have 195,000. And the Department of Buses, we have 1,222 self-reported positives. 995 of that returned to work. Currently, quarantine, we had, the number was 2,102. Of that, we have 1,874 who returned to work. So now currently 228 are currently quarantined, and which makes the total that returned to work 2,869 to date. Fatalities in the Department of Buses is at 40. It's a high number. God bless the dead. Temperature testing. Temperature testing rules are still on hold. This is based on the meeting that we had Monday. We're waiting for guidance from MTA headquarters. There was feedback on the last conference call where the unions were questioning the policies that the Department of Buses were talking about implementing. Okay, nothing is imminent. Once guidance is given from MTA headquarters, the discussion will reconvene. That doesn't mean the union will accept human headquarters' determination. The other issues that came up on Monday's conference call is how to treat an employee out on EPSLA or other leave in regards to treating the holiday. MTA HQ determined that those employees won't be able to bank the holiday. The holiday will be paid for the day in lieu of the other leave. So in other words, if you're on EPSLA or any other leave while you're on quarantine, you will get paid the holiday for the holiday, and then your EPSLA will continue, which means you'll have an additional day of EPSLA because then it's not going to be used for the holiday. Okay? Now, there was a discussion on reopening New York City. Mayor de Blasio talked about June as the potential for reopening. What we are talking about is phase 1 of reopening. As part of that, the mayor also said that in Staten Island, the ferry would start operating on an every 30-minute schedule. as opposed to an every hour schedule, which they're currently doing. New York City Transit, Department of Buses, is already prepared for that. Our brothers out in Staten Island have already been operating on a 30-minute headway coming out of the ferry. So there shouldn't be no issue with that when as the ferry starts to move every 30 minutes. The Department of Buses says we have to keep a close eye on New York City opening because we need to support the reopening with proper service. The Department of Bus also says they wouldn't be removing any barriers right away. That's the barriers for the express buses and the barriers that are protecting or supposedly protecting our operators with the plastics and stuff. The plastic and stuff, what we understand, is going to be more of a long-term thing. The union on the call today asks, would there be a policy on the amount of people that will be allowed to board a bus? All right, so far the Department of Buses says that they're looking for guidance, essentially from the health officials regarding social distancing, but no hand and fast policy as of yet on how many people will be allowed on the buses as they start opening up the city. The union has stated that we must have protocols because operators don't want people on top of them, and they're correct. All right, that's essentially the report for the statistics and everything that's going on. I do want to touch on a couple of issues, such as the M31 that was brought to my attention, and it was brought to the attention of the chairman of the depot in Tuskegee. And what has occurred is that they put Arctics on the M31. So in what I discovered today was that the complaint was over social distancing, so that's why they put the Arctics there. So we have to make sure that our people are getting paid appropriately. But just let me touch on something that I was touching on anyway. Now, and you'll see this in a lot of areas, like as an employee of New York City Transit, an employee of MapStore, employee of MTA Bus, you will notice, or maybe you don't notice, but there's a lot of movements going on where the union has to stay on top of it. And you as a member also have to stay on top of what's going on and let us know right away. And thankfully, they did let us know right away about the M31. There was a couple of members who reached out to me, left it on my voicemail and sent it to me in a text. So we have a contract that's in place. We're supposed to get paid for any services that we provide on an RTIC. We're supposed to get that differential pay. If you don't see that differential pay, first go to the general, and if there's an issue after that, go to your union chair. If your union chair has an issue, they will obviously bring it to me. Well, I will have to do something about it, okay? So this is happening in a lot of different arenas right now. We like the PIC. We're gonna have a PIC meeting tomorrow, but there's still a question mark on the PIC because as we noticed, Transit is trying to do things to make sure that they can, I guess, levy against our practices and our rules. But we're on the ball. Your vice president, MapStore, is on the ball of making sure that practices stay intact, and whatever practices, whatever changes to a PIC rule, PIC practice, whatever, the powers that be are making sure that there are protections put into place, and those things will continue on until expiration date of a certain step that we sign. So there's protections in place. And can you just imagine? I mean, can you imagine? I'm not even asking what people feel about their union, but could you imagine if you didn't have one? You know, this would the powers that be in government, the bosses, the management would try to walk all over this particular institution, and I'm telling you, because I see the tries, and the tries, and the tries. Management in a particularized division, they're trying to implement a different set of rules from the rules that were discussed on these conference calls, and that's what's really telling and disturbing. And you know, it's not really clear if it's a game that's being played or if it's just lower management just not trying to get over or trying to maybe come in beneath the rules that we put into place. We don't know that, but we do know there's a whole bunch of things happening, and we just got to stayed alert to police many of the things that are happening, and that's where we as a union all together have to be meshed as one, because we don't know what's going on unless the eyes and the ears tell us that it's going on. We already know that we set up a platform and we put a set of rules in place, and if those rules are not being followed, then it's up to our members to let us know what it is, and so we can take care of. We could take it with upper management or whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is that we have to, you know, stick together when fighting management. And unfortunately, even though in with this pandemic, the pandemic doesn't have, it doesn't pick a side on who's the enemy. This pandemic will kill the boss and the worker at the same time. But all the boss cares about is how I'm gonna save my bottom line. So keep that in mind. Another thing I wanted to talk about is I want to talk a little bit about politics, because being an observed eye, I want to. Everybody plays politics, man, and it's kind of disturbing, but I see it, and my thing is, if we trying to help people, no matter what the scenario of help is, why are people trying to politicize it? It's not, to me, it's not right. That's to me. Why are we politicizing this pandemic? It's like really, really crazy. And it brings me to a point, and it was a book I was reading called Thinking in Bets. So I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. Now, a lot of people, if on here, if you ask somebody like, what's the game of life, right? People will say chess is the game of life, right? So, and I would have been one of those folks that would have said, yeah, chess is the game of life because of how you move. You got to do everything through a strategy, right? But the book I was reading kind of says the contrary to that belief. Now, it's a theory of chess versus poker, right? Now, I say poker. Poker's a game, but poker is a serious game to some people. Anybody who has cable has seen poker tournaments. People have their glasses on. People are betting serious money. So, to move on that subject, many believe that chess is not a game. It is. They believe, chess on its own merit is a well-defined form of computation. You may not be able to work out the answers, but in theory, there must be a solution, a right procedure in any position. Now, real games, let's go back to that. In chess, there has to be a right procedure, right? So many of us, and I bring this up because many of us think that or many will not even think, like, after a decision is made, people can go back and then we can go on social media or we can go into the chat rooms and we could say, yo, he made a wrong decision. He did this. He should have did it, or she should have did it this way, or he should have did it that way, right? Do you remember when in the Seahawks games when they called the play? This is when they was in the Super Bowl. They called the play and they passed it instead of just running it into the end zone. And then the next day, everybody said that was a horrible, horrible play. They blew the Super Bowl. The Seahawks blew the Super Bowl that year. I'm pretty sure everybody who's a football fan remembers that. So everybody on Monday morning was like, they should have did this. They should have did that. But the play calling actually was a brilliant call because everybody and their mother was guessing that this guy was going to run the football. So they prepared for the run, even though he passed the ball and it got intercepted, and that was the end of the game for them. Guy ran it back for a touchdown. The point I'm making is that when you make a decision, right? What is considered a right procedure, right? In chess, and go back into chess, a right procedure in any position is how real games are not like, or real games are not like that at all. It's more, real life is not what is considered chess, because chess is a calculated move that has rules, it has a solution, and then it has a winner and a loser, right? Life is not like that, because on what life is really like, it consists of a lot of, to tell you the truth, bluffing, tactics of deception, asking yourself, what does the other man think I mean to do? Add that to the game of chess, and you'll find out that chess is not the game of life at all. But maybe poker is more like the game of life, because you take a chance. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Not really trying to get y'all all caught up in my crazy mind. Sometimes I get into this thinking, and I read a lot, of different theories on things, and the fact that, like the other day, I'll give you another day. Listen, I promise I'm not here to blow no one up. I do a reporting, right? And one of our members said that there was a problem in BJ. So I addressed it. And I addressed that problem, and I added it to this particular live on Monday, and was criticized for adding it, because this was something that was talked about already, about BJ's and Costco's and all of that. But the question is, was I supposed to leave that member concern out because it was discussed already? That's not really the position that I'm in. My position is that I have to deal with everybody's concerns. I don't pick and choose the people who I want to help. I can like you, I can not like you, but I have to help you. That's my job. So just because somebody made a comment of something that maybe was discussed or went over already, I'm not going to say, listen, we went over that already. We have to just deal with it, right? Let me just deal with that particular person's issue, because just because it's something that we dealt with already doesn't mean that this person's issue isn't real. So we have to deal with it. All right? So I'm going to close on that note, but I want to, what I will do now is, I see there's some questions. It's hard for me to be flipping back going into the video, so it's just easier for me to close the video and then answer the questions. All right? Maybe I tell you what I could do. Let me see. What you call just had a question. Let me go through the questions real quick, and I'm gonna see if I can put maybe a couple of you guys on the video with me. Whoever has a question, why don't y'all make yourself available for me to put y'all on the video, and I'll bring you on the video so you can ask the question, and everybody can kind of see what you're asking me. Let me go back to the bottom here. Give me a second, guys. Okay, Ruben Smith. Let me see. Ruben Smith, you got me a long question. No, it's not really long. All right, Ruben Smith. Hey, Donnie, I'm having an issue getting paid. I was approved for the 14-day quarantine and EPSLA for another 14 days, and HR approved it, but no one knows where my money is. I don't know what to do. My last check is okay, bro. Ruben? Did you go? First of all, did you go to your chair? And is anybody working on it? That's what we need to know. Is anybody working on it? Start with your chair and find out who's working on it. All right, yeah, and that's a suck deal. And any way I can assist you, I will. But start with the chair. Okay, brother Quest Ellis. Sup? Quick question outside of this. You filled out. Hold on, let me read your thing. You filled out child care fund for summer camp voucher. Now there is no summer camp, and wanted to know how can I switch the voucher to the after school. I stood on the line for 5 hours. You know what? That's a good question. I don't have a readily answer for you, bro, but that's something that I will write down as a because I gotta find that out for you. So you did summer camp, right? Change to after school. So I'll get back to you on that, all right, bro? Brother Quest, I'll get back to you on that answer. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna cut out of here right now. If you got questions for me, feel free to hit me up, and I will definitely answer you. And I will definitely any questions that I can't answer, I will find a way to get you an answer for the next time we get on here. Monday is the holiday, Memorial Day. We will not have. I don't anticipate doing a live on Monday. All right, I usually do Mondays and Thursdays. I don't anticipate doing one on Monday, but if something comes up, I will definitely give a few hours notice to let you know what's going on. Anyway, be safe. Have a good weekend. Practice social distancing. This thing ain't over. Cover up. All right. Any of you bike riders out there, let's go for a ride. Let's get some of that wind therapy. And be well. Be safe.